Hey everybody, first review of the new year, and I'm excited to start reviewing a whole new batch of indie games. Starting off this year with a cute little Q Bert inspired roguelike by the name of Knights of the Rogue Dungeon, developed and published by Atui. While not as complex as some roguelikes, there is some depth to be had in this one. Let's get into it. Cleanse the rogue dungeon of 3 demon knights as you battle through the depths in this addicting roguelike dungeon hopper from the creators of Mutant Mudds and Zeo Drifter. Ever shifting, the depths below demand mastery of resurrection, combat, luck, magic, and thrift. Once you hop, it's hard to stop. I like the rhyme there. Like I said, this is a game heavily inspired by Q Bert, and as you can see, it's exactly that. From the start, you are able to select multiple characters, including Sir Redmore, Lady Steadfast, Max from Mutant Mudds, and Skullahead. My favorite actually is Blobsalot. Each one of them have specific looks and armors as knights, but you will notice from the start that you will not be in your armor. That is where the core gameplay comes in. Your objective in each dungeon is to clear every block in procedurally generated levels. Enemies will appear randomly on each block and they will have their own movement. You will die in one hit if you run into them, but if you have a streak of 8 blocks cleared or less, and I'll get to that in just a second, lightning will strike and you will don your armor. This will allow you to take out enemies. You will remain in that armor unless you go back to a block that you already cleared, which will remove the armor until you get your next streak. This does add a bit of strategy as you have to be careful of avoiding enemies and getting a streak to get armor while getting coins and clearing the stage entirely. If you do die, you will have to start completely over and get the amount of coins collected with a death tax. I know that sounds crazy, but like any good roguelike, you do have the ability to purchase permanent upgrades. These feature extra lives, night power increasers, lucky charms, invincible armors, death tax reducer, and a devastating vanquish spell. And each upgrade has their own cost, but I would recommend starting with the night power increaser and the death tax reducer. The night power increaser reduces the amount of blocks cleared until you get your armor. Like I said, you start with 8, but at the max upgrade you can get it down to 3, so you are able to have your armor longer and faster depending on how you play. The death tax reducer is pretty self-explanatory, but at max level you will have no tax at all, so you will be able to keep all of the money you've collected thus far. There are 6 uniquely themed dungeons infested with enemies and traps, each more challenging than the last. There is a boss in between every other dungeon, and the battle kind of works in a reverse way. They take away blocks, and your objective is to clear them so you can get your armor and defeat them, then clear any remaining blocks on that level. I enjoy the simplicity of this game. It is very much a pick up and play for a few runs on the go, which is why this is such a great game for handhelds like Switch or a Steam Deck. It's very easy to get back into each run after you die. And even with the death tax, getting money is pretty easy to get upgrades. The controls are also fast, intuitive, and responsive, running at a silky smooth 60 frames per second. Once I got the hang of the controls and figured out level patterns better, I was flying through levels with relative ease. It's something I love about this genre. The more runs you do, the better you are with the mechanics and level design. Also like that you get to start from a level already unlocked. It cuts down on the need to start from the very beginning every time, though it is helpful to start from the beginning so you can collect more coins for more upgrades, because some of these are a little bit more expensive, especially that vanquishing spell, which costs about 5,000 coins. But even though those controls are fast, the load times between levels can be a bit slow. There were a few times I thought the game was frozen, only to realize that it was just loading in. There was also a weird bug with one of the bosses that I had defeated. It took a while for the stage to end and to move on to the next one. I almost thought I needed to restart before the rest of the game caught up to me, but though going back I realized that maybe I was just messing around with the mechanics. So maybe it wasn't the game frozen, maybe it was a bit of a skill issue. This isn't a huge negative, but I think it is easier to move your character with the D-pad over the analog stick. I found that the analog stick was a little bit clunky at times and I wasn't able to be as precise as I wanted it to be. This was the case on the Switch with my Joy-Cons, so your experience may vary depending on the type of platform that you are playing this on. So if you are into Q Bert with roguelike elements, I highly recommend Knights of the Rogue Dungeon. Like I said, while not the most complex of mechanics, this is good for someone who is wanting to scratch that specific itch while on the go or while you are at home for a relaxing and cozy evening. And what did you think about Knights of the Rogue Dungeon? Did you pick it up or will you pick it up after this review? In either case, let me know in the comments, and while you are down there, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more indie game reviews, LPs, like my new series every Wednesday, and more coming your way. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Chike, and I will see you next time. Bye.